Nala led the way through the quiet village, and Kira followed close behind, adjusting the unfamiliar clothes she had given him. The evening sun bathed the village in a warm, golden hue, casting long shadows and painting the houses in soft amber. It looked peaceful, almost too peaceful. But the people weren't. Villagers paused to stare at them, their eyes filled with suspicion and curiosity. Kira could feel their gaze crawling over him like invisible fingers. Nala noticed and quickly wrapped an arm around his shoulder, pulling him in as she whispered, "Don't say a word. Don't look anyone in the eye. Let me do the talking." They walked on, passing narrow streets and silent homes until they reached a wide open square. A crowd of children, most of them Kira's age, filled the area, buzzing with excitement. Their voices echoed through the square as they prepared for what seemed to be an important trip to a nearby cave. In front of them stood a row of school teachers and village officials, checking lists and gathering the children's families around them. But when Nala approached, the crowd instinctively made way for her. An older man holding a clipboard looked up in surprise. "Nala? I didn't expect to see you here today." His eyes shifted to Kira. "And who's this with you?" "This is my grandson," Nala replied without hesitation. A hush fell over the square. Heads turned. Whispers erupted like sparks in dry grass. Everyone stared at the boy by her side, murmuring in disbelief. The man squinted. "I'm sorry, but wasn't your grandson declared dead?" Nala's eyes narrowed. "I've told you 1,000 times, he is not dead. If you didn't believe me, that's your problem." The man hesitated, clearly unsettled. "But where did you find him? How? When?" "That's none of your business," Nala snapped. "Just write his name down and be done with it." He glanced nervously at the others, then back at her. "But he was never given a name. He was just a child during the war. He died with his parents before they ever named him." "Well, he has a name now," Nala said sharply. "His name is Kira. Write it down. Or I'll take this to the tribe chief myself." The man fell silent. Then, with trembling hands, he scribbled something into the ledger. The sun had dipped low, casting a golden hue over the village as a quiet tension hung in the air. After Kira's name had been reluctantly added to the records, the group remained in the square for a short while. Then, one of the teachers stepped forward and called out over the chatter of the children. "My name is William," he announced with calm authority. "I will be your guide today. Please, those with the element of wind stand on the right. Those with the element of water on the left." Excited murmurs swept through the crowd as the children quickly sorted themselves into two groups. Some looked eager, others nervous. Kira stood still, unsure where to go. Nala, without missing a beat, took his arm and tugged him gently toward the wind's side. "You're my grandson now," she whispered through gritted teeth. "Focus and don't embarrass me." Kira nodded, trying to keep a low profile. William raised his voice again, this time addressing the parents. "Please return home. From this point on, the students are under our care. We will guide them safely." With that, William turned and began walking down a path that led toward the ocean. The students followed in two lines, chattering among themselves, casting curious glances at the looming silhouette of a massive rocky mountain by the beach. They stopped near the shore, where the waves lapped quietly and the sky had darkened into twilight. William faced them again, his expression solemn. "In a few minutes, the full moon will rise," he explained. "When it does, the entrance to the cave will be revealed. You will enter 2 by 2, one wind user and one water user, forming teams. Inside, you will face puzzles and challenges that require cooperation between both elements." He paused, letting the words sink in before continuing. "You are only allowed to explore the first floor. I repeat, no one is to descend to the second level. The cave is enormous, you won't be able to cover even a fraction of it in a week. After 7 days, it will vanish, and anyone still inside will be trapped until it reappears next year." The students exchanged wide-eyed glances. Some looked thrilled, others visibly shivered. "Whatever you find inside is yours to keep, but it must be shown to me when we regroup. Any questions?" Silence followed at first, Then a low wave of whispers began to ripple through the crowd of children. Kira remained still, the salty sea breeze brushing his hair as he stared at the mountain. As the students whispered among themselves, the moon began its steady ascent into the night sky. Its pale light shimmered on the ocean's surface, and the tide subtly withdrew. Then, something extraordinary happened. The moonlight touched a specific spot on the rocky mountain, and with that single beam of silver light, a section of the mountain split open. A wide, ancient cave entrance revealed itself, pulsing in and out of view as if resisting the moon's pull. One moment it was there, the next it vanished like mist, only to reappear again. William raised his hand and called out firmly, "The gate is unstable. It opens only to those with enough magic energy to pass through safely. If you feel you cannot make it, do not force entry. The vibrations of the door will crush your body inside the rock, and we will not be able to save you." A tense silence fell before the first pair stepped forward. One wind user and one water user. They passed through the shimmering cave entrance and disappeared into the depths. More students followed, moving in cautious pairs. Then it was Kira's turn. He stepped forward, but paused. There was no water magic user waiting to go with him. He looked left and right, faces turned away, avoiding eye contact. William noticed and motioned for him to wait aside. Minutes passed. All the children entered, 2 by 2, until only Kira remained. William approached him with a shrug and said, "I'm sorry, kid. Bad luck. I suggest you wait until next year." Kira narrowed his eyes. "No, I'm going in. I don't need anyone with me." William's face hardened. "Absolutely not. Without a water user shield, you won't survive the entrance. I won't be responsible for your death." Just then, a voice echoed from the distance. "Master William, I'm sorry I'm late." A girl ran toward them, carrying an oversized bag that looked nearly as heavy as she was. Her long black hair bounced with each step, and despite her rushed arrival, she didn't seem the least bit worried. William turned in surprise. "Layla, what took you so long? I can't believe someone as gifted as you nearly missed the cave opening." Layla grinned and panted. "No way I'd miss it. I just spent too long packing." William chuckled, then glanced at Kira. "Well, lucky you. Layla is one of the best water users in the village. You couldn't ask for a better partner." Layla looked at Kira with a frown. "Wait, him? Isn't there anyone else I can go with?" William gave her a stern look. "You were late. He's the only one left. Deal with it." Layla sighed, clearly unimpressed. Layla glanced at Kira as they approached the flickering cave entrance, its mouth opening and closing with a deep, bone-rattling sound. "This is the first time I've seen you," she said, her tone edged with suspicion. "Who are you?" "I'm Nala's grandson," Kira replied simply. Layla's eyes widened, but she said nothing more. They stopped at the threshold where the cave shimmered and pulsed with each movement of the moonlight. Without warning, she grabbed his hand tightly. "I'll form the water shield. You're on air duty. Don't mess this up. Focus." A sphere of glistening water formed around them, swirling in sync with Layla's precise movements. Kira, mimicking the students he'd observed earlier, conjured soft streams of wind to gently reinforce the bubble. Together they dashed forward. But as they reached the shifting mouth of the cave, the water sphere began to shudder. Cracks spiderwebbed across the surface. Then snap. The shield burst with a sharp crack, throwing them both to the ground inside the cave. Layla groaned, quickly scrambling to collect the spilled contents of her bag. She shot Kira a sharp glare. "You don't know how to balance your wind shield with my water shield. If I hadn't been careful, you would have gotten us crushed at the entrance." Kira opened his mouth to speak, but she held up a hand. "Don't," she said firmly. Then, standing tall, she extended a hand to him without looking back. "From now on, walk behind me, quietly, and don't do anything unless I tell you." Kira looked around, awe settling in his eyes. The cave was massive, its walls shimmering like polished silver, glowing softly as if infused with the moonlight itself. Layla pulled a small, circular device from her bag. It resembled a compass, but more intricate, etched with glowing runes. "You're lucky," she said, her tone a mix of pride and mischief. "This is my grandmother's invention. Without it, we'd waste days in this maze. Even though I was late, I'm certain we'll be the first ones out." Kira trailed behind her, silent, taking in the winding, glittering corridors. For 5 long hours, they walked through the endless maze, the only sounds being their footsteps and the quiet hum of magic in the walls. Then, finally, they emerged into a vast underground hall. It was breathtaking. Scattered across the floor were dozens of small silver lakes, each one reflecting the silver-lit walls and the high, mist-veiled ceiling far above. The water shimmered unnaturally, like liquid moonlight. Layla raised a hand. "Stay behind me. Don't go near the water. We don't have time to deal with whatever's inside those lakes." They stepped carefully, weaving between the pools. Then a voice called out behind them. "Layla, you cheater. How did you get here first?" Layla spun around. 2 figures were running down the corridor. Her cousins, Samar and Michael. Samar was waving a compass nearly identical to Layla's. "Wait!" Layla shouted, panic rising in her voice. "Don't run like that. Watch out for the—" But it was too late. The stillness shattered. The silver lakes exploded upward as 3 massive moonshade krakens erupted from the water. Gleaming tentacles lashed the air with terrifying speed. One wrapped around Samar's legs and yanked her off the ground. She screamed as her body was pulled skyward, flailing helplessly. Michael didn't hesitate. With a burst of wind magic, he launched himself into the air, narrowly avoiding the slashing limbs. His wind carried him higher, but the krakens pursued with shocking speed, tentacles snapping like whips toward him. He gritted his teeth and summoned a powerful gust, creating a vortex that slowed the creature's advance. But it was clear they were far stronger than he had expected. Below, Kira and Layla stood frozen, caught between awe and fear, and the moonshade krakens weren't finished.